when we allow complex issues to be addressed with mere cliches in our life. You know, but we don't want to handle the difficult things of life. I guess a part of my tension this week, while I've been thinking about preaching this, was going over some things with some people that I've gone over 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 to 10 to 20 times, and the frustration of the person not being able to get it. That's the kind of world we live in. When dialogue between Christians and non-Christians deteriorate into name-calling. That's what our nation has become. You got the Tea Party group, and then you got the other group. I received an email this morning. I couldn't believe it. Some guy had gone to an Old Testament scripture and proved through looking at the Hebrew of the Old Testament scripture that Obama was the Antichrist. I said, well, here it is, and this coming from a Christian person. How do we get into this pit? We don't use the gift of discernment anymore. As a matter of fact, we don't even have the ability to look beneath the surface of a thing because we don't want to do that. We don't want to know what it really is. We make a rash statement by looking at what it appears to be. And if we're going to be serious in fighting this war against evil, we've got to look deeper than that. When a Christian looks below the surface of their culture and get out using the popular rhetoric and the pools of public policies, because we Christians have even come down into that, we discover what the real issue is. And that's when we can move our culture. But you listening to this and you watching this doesn't mean that anything is going to take place unless somebody gets serious about their Christian life. So we've got to check out all the languages. Then we've got to weigh that language against the tried and proven moral absolutes. But you may say, John, what are those tried and proven moral absolutes? There are no more tried and proven moral absolutes. Someone asked me, Liz, someone asked me again this week, a businessman that I met at a mall. And he looks at me and he looks at me, James, and he says, wow, you look great. I said, thanks, man. You look, well, it's good to see you. That's all I could say. And he said, you must have found another wife. And I said, what makes you think I needed to do that? To look as good as I look? I said, I look this way because of who I am within me. Then this man told me, I'm just telling you guys where it is. This man told me, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, but if you had a queen by your side, you'd look twice as good and better than you look right now. Now, of course, I don't know, and this guy's supposed to be a Christian. As a matter of fact, at the end of the conversation, Bobby said that he had gone to Grace Church. I only spent about 3 weeks there and he had to leave because he said he felt like he wasn't welcome. And I looked at him and I said, you probably weren't. But he had the wrong objective to look at. I look at my life far more broader than the cultural mannerisms. We have to check the language, all right? Russell Kirk put it this way when he wrote a text called The Roots of the American Order. He says, with the moral and social order that America have known for 2 centuries and more, endured throughout, will it endure throughout the 21st century? He says, that may depend upon whether enough men and women in our country, informed by study, check this out, by study of the institutions and the convictions have developed for 3,000 years, make up their mind to stand by the, check it out, permanent things. There are no more permanent things. Can you name one thing that is permanent when you grew up as a kid that's still here? And don't mention a hamburger. Can you name one thing that's still permanent that you remember that was a stable back in the day when you came up? Can you mention one thing that America produces more than 100,000 of these things now that they produce when you were a kid growing up? Can't, because everything is bartered out. We bartered everything out. They don't make ironing boards here. They don't make irons here. They don't make any of those things here. They're all done over there, and they own us. And when you look at America now, we're so busy. And you guys know, because it happened Thursday night. And I got to say it to the people there. Why in the heck were we concerned about LeBron going to Florida when the taxation is so high? Your president can't even prove his residency, born in this country. You're being tricked and flipped, and everybody is looking at LeBron and happy about that switch and that move and listening to what the coach at Cleveland is saying. That's how dumbfounded America is. We are drenched in evil, and all this mess is happening, and we're concerned about where a stupid court gesture, multi-millionaire, is going to bounce a ball, and he's sitting next to Shaq, and everybody's saying, oh, that's going to be the team to beat Kobe this year. Is that what it's come down to? That's what America's problem is. My friends, that's what your problem is. That's what our problem is. Join me and unplugging the tube. You shouldn't even care. But no, we're going to be talking about it because that's where we are. Wait a minute, I got a good question for you. Do you think that the Christians in Indochina is concerned about who LeBron is playing for? What is their major concern?
Staying alive.
Staying alive. There it is. I think we got the point. What are these permanent things then that I've been talking about? It's God, faith, family, and the understanding of right and wrong. Those are permanent things. God, faith, family, right, wrong. Okay? And you know, it's not what you think is right for another individual. I'm talking about right and wrong to you. What is right and wrong to you? To keep you morally conditioned. See, I like eating a lot of lumpia. Now, you may think that's wrong, but eating about 12 of them things at one time, those egg rolls, to me, that's right. I'm talking about right and wrong to you based upon your moral absolutes. And as Christians, we have the same moral absolutes biblically. But what we have to do is to define what those things are biblically, and not allowing your preacher or Bible teacher to define that for you. Here's where the problem comes in. It's when somebody calls me and asks me, what should I do because my is moving in with her boyfriend? Wait a minute. What's right and wrong for you? Me? I go to dinner, man. I'm not concerned about what your grown children are doing, nor what mine is doing. I'm going to dinner. Now, if they're children under your care, like the creature you guys got, hey, you got to be concerned with that because he's underage. But once they grow up and become grown, go to dinner. Enjoy your life. So you have to define what that is. It said we must come to the point that we see that there are forces that are going to work against your faith, your family, your understanding of what right and wrong is. And there's going to be forces working against that thing that each of us hold dear. It happens to me all the time when people try to criticize me. And I'm saying, oh, well, that's not dear to you, but that's dear to me. I have to hold to it. Let me keep moving. Let's examine some of these forces. There's a stronghold of the wrong kinds of power and influence. Let me give you an illustration of a castigation in history past. The players were the absence of fathers in home in America. Once the father is outside of that home, and that child has to